Welcome, everyone. I'd just love to introduce you to our Coaching Pathways to Success interview series, which is proudly brought to you by the ICF Australasia Southern States branch. So in this series, we get to hear from our very own members, just some of their diverse stories about how they've made a living from coaching. And we heard from you members that this is the #1 challenge that you face as a coach, me, myself included. So my name's Candice, and I'm a member of the ICF Southern States leadership team. And I'm really excited to welcome Mel Leow, who's a friend of mine I've known for a few years, and he'll be giving us some insight, his wisdom, his learnings into his own really personal coaching pathway to success. So a bit of background, Mel has 28 years of leadership and coaching experience in the Asia Pacific region. I think he looks far too young to have that many years of experience.
Thank you.
Well, you can guess how old he is. He serves C-suite executives to lead and thrive at their best, and his key drive is to empower leaders and coaches to live, be, and brave, one of his taglines. So Mel's the founder of Epic and Catalyst Coach, which is based in Melbourne here, and is passionate about democratizing coaching. He leads a global ICF-accredited online school that equips the future generation of coaches. And he's the co-author of 3 books, and his latest book, Engage, is called Engage, How to Stop Living in Default and Start Living the Life You Desire. And look, I'm reading it. I got it here. Oh, let's see, woo.
There you go.
Great book. So he's also the podcast host of the 100 Master Coaches show. So Mel, I'm really looking forward to this conversation because I get to pick your brains today and really find out all about the things that has made your coaching journey successful today. So let's get started.
Sure.
And yeah, let's tell us a bit about your coaching journey in your business.
First and foremost, thanks, Candice, and great that we're doing this for the members. Coaching journey started in 2005. That's when I moved to Melbourne. I was originally from Malaysia, and I've been working there before that for about 13 years. So I wasn't doing coaching at the start of my career. I was in advertising and marketing. I was doing FMCG marketing, or what we call brand marketing, and I worked for companies like Colgate, Johnson & Johnson, and beautiful companies. And I think the best part of all of that is I get to use the products, and so it's pretty cool. But yeah, when I came to Australia, I felt like I bumped into coaching. It's something that came as an option to the career path, and so when I found coaching, I kind of realized that after doing it for the first year, I realized that this was something that I've always wanted to do. I don't know whether you've had that thought or the feeling. It's like, oh my gosh, I found this oasis, right? It's full with so much that it has given me. So that's how I started coming into the world of coaching. I didn't jump in straight away. It took me 5 full years to kind of looked at it from afar, did it like a side hustle for a bit. And then I realized that I needed to take that plunge. So 5 years later, I did officially say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I want to do this full time. And in a full time sense, it's my 13th year doing it full time. So that's plus obviously 5 years. So it's about 18 years being a coach. So that's the journey thus far, Candice.
Yeah. I love that. I think so many of us coaches, we kind of bump into it and discover something magical, yeah. and we just want to do it, every day. And so you talked about 5 years it took you. So what was the major shift or change that happened to actually, move you into, I guess, full-time or get more serious about your coaching?
One of it was I kept on speaking to the couple of close friends who obviously were in the workplace. They were high flyers themselves, right? And so every time I ask them, have you heard of coaching? Right? And they'll be like, no. Is it training? I'm like, no, it's not quite. And so every other time when I get to see them, I'll kind of put that question in. And it took like 5 years for that particular couple of friends to kind of like, yeah, we're hearing it now. And I think I've been offered even to do this, and have a coach. And then it kind of gave me confidence. I think that shift is that own self-belief, number one, but number two, that slow built confidence within me and kind of like tell me that there is a market, right? So you can slowly get into it, but focus is the key. What are, I think, the particular unique selling proposition, as often they say, but I like to call it unique value proposition that you bring to the places that you feel that you want to serve in. So that's I think the shift that I needed to make within myself, and of course doing a little bit of research every time, just checking in on where it's at, where coaching is at in the markets I wanted to serve in.
Yeah, definitely that mindset, that shift. I've seen that for myself. It's not often the external, because there's a huge market out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it was quite a few years ago that you came into the coaching world. So since that time, how has your coaching business really evolved, and what do you find yourself really focusing on now?
Yeah, I started out looking at some of my friends again in the coaching fraternity. One of which is a beautiful friend of mine when we co-authored the book Bring Out Their Best, 𝗖𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗬𝗦𝗧. She's based in Melbourne as well. And one of the thoughts I had was, hey, Natalie, I've gone through your program. Would you like to bring this program to Asia? So that's one of the things I did. I'm like, felt that this program that I experienced could add value in perhaps a different market. So that was one of the things that I kind of put in the bag to say, if I ever did this, I don't just want to do coaching or do executive coaching. I wanted to be a coach for coaches, or coach of coaches. So that's one of the thoughts that I had. And yeah, Natalie said yes, and the rest is history, I guess. 6 years working with her was just wonderful. I brought the program back to Asia and delivered it a couple of times, actually 17 times.
Wow.
And after that, that's when I decided, actually about 5-6 years ago now, to start my own coaching school, Catalyst Coach. And yeah, that's one of the areas that I'm focusing on, which is offering coaching certifications, and yeah, it's become a mission of mine to equip coaches to become the impact that they call to be. So that's one of the areas. And then, as obviously a business person, I thought of what's my focus, right? I tried life coaching for a bit in the first 5 years. So that was the kind of coaching I did for the first 5 years. Let me tell you, it was fulfilling and yet very stressful, because I kind of ran out of friends to coach, and after a while, they're like, oh no, insurance salesman is coming, let's get out of here. Right. So I kind of realized that, hey, you can't just coach within your own circles, because after a while, everyone kind of knows your story, your approach, and that what you said, that's a whole big market outside of your circle. So I thought that would be not wise if I continued just doing life coaching. And so I dropped that whole thing about life coaching, and I just focused on the executives. So that's a big call for me, because I went from that to the workplaces. And then I also thought about what are the certain tools that they could use, right? It's just like when you go on to a McDonald's, or Macca's as they call it here. And they would say, hey, you want to upgrade, you want to have fries with this, or you want to have chips with nuggets with this, or ice cream. So that I feel like we need to have a couple of those I think value add tools, that not to just make a sale, but to value add, right? So that's when I went into the world of psychometric tools, got certified in a couple of them, and offered that as part of my offering as well. So obviously it became a little bit more holistic. I could do 360, I could do values-based psychometric, or even attitudes and motivations. So I think that those are the little things that I start to realize in defining what I would offer to the market out there.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mel. What I can hear from this sharing is that it was definitely a process, a journey. It's not like you started and it's like you had everything clearly mapped out. You kind of started a few things and then it evolved over time. One thing I want to pick up on is that I think what's quite unique about you is that you're based in Melbourne, but yet you're from Malaysia. And so you actually have a significant number of clients actually based overseas, and this is pre-pandemic, before everything kind of went virtual. So tell us a bit about how that works for you, and also I guess what you see as a future in terms of global coaching beyond our borders.
I would like to continue the story. When I kind of finished with that 5 years and wanted to do full-time coaching, I actually moved my family back to Malaysia. So this is part of the story that I don't think a lot of people know. So for 6 years, I and family moved back to Kuala Lumpur and started the business there. And it all started because of a wonderful friend. I approached just very, very few people, and I said, I'm going into this thing called executive coaching and all of that. Who could you introduce me to? And so those were the close friends that identified certain key people, and I had opportunity to have warm meetings instead of just cold calling. And those were my initial few forays into coaching, and clients as well, right? And then the second thing was I thought of bringing my good friend Natalie to Malaysia. Everybody loves a different person coming in, especially from overseas, right? And you're like, oh, wow, okay, you're bringing in Australian. Yeah, she's really good. And so I created this event in KL. And I sent this to all of the HR people I knew, and the friends who knew HR people as well. And that event was in a very nice hotel. And immediately after the event, I realized it was only a half-day event with lunch and everything. I had 80 name cards. In those days when we collected name cards, I had 80 name cards to follow up on. So that was just an amazing event. And to be frank, the event paid for itself, because So I had 80 name cards, not for free, but for that effort I put in, having the thought of doing something different, right? Like creating an event. I didn't wait for someone else to create an event for me. I created an event that I felt that the market needed. So that's how it started. And I continued with the clients. It continued to grow. And after 6 years of living abroad, I decided to kind of bring the family back. And that's how we started the coaching school as well. We brought it back here. So I think the lessons is about doing things that you probably not really comfortable in doing, but it kind of opens up this window of opportunity, right? Collaboration definitely is one of the key messages I want to say today. Don't kind of work alone and think that you have to do all of these things yourself. Reach out to people. You don't have to create an event, right? But you know, you can connect with certain number of people that are perhaps similar to you in your values and belief systems or whatever, and do things together. Right? And that's what I did with Natalie for 6 years, right? So Natalie was like my good friend, my business partner in a sense, with the school that I was representing, her school in Asia, and yeah, even a mentor of mine. She got her MCC before me, and so she helped me along the way as well, giving insights. So yeah, it's a lonely journey, this entrepreneurial road, but it's not going to be just lonely if you allow people into your life. And so open up yourself to possible closer connections, and yeah, that will be a exciting time when you can journey with people.
Yeah, wow, thank you for that. Yeah, that whole idea of collaboration and partnering with fellow coaches as well to bring something. And I really believe that's part of why the ICF here exists, especially like the Southern States branch. What we're wanting to do is allow you guys as the members to meet one another, collaborate, bring something bigger to the world out there that I feel really desperately needs good coaching at the moment. So, and I guess what I really like hearing you is that, Mel, you've brought your unique, I guess, background to use that as a real advantage for you. You know, being based here in Melbourne isn't a challenge, given that your clients are back overseas, but it's actually something that has built your business and is something that makes you different to other coaches around. So I guess for us, it's something that I'm taking away, is like thinking about what really makes me different, unique, my background, my experiences, my interests that I can really bring into building my business as well.
I would like to just jump in here and just say that perhaps I had the benefit because I was helping to build brands in my early years, right? And I realized that each one of us is a brand by itself. Right? You may not think that way, or people listening to this, you know, may think, oh, I'm not a brand. But think about it. If you were a brand, who'll be the people picking you out off the shelf, right? What sort of they call it avatars they are, right? They are just wanting more of this, whatever you're offering, right? There is a market there, and yes, you're right. It doesn't have to be just within your neighborhood or your community, even though that's amazing. You could start there, but think of it bigger. It's like I've met so many coaches, right, through this journey, that has a little passion on the side, and then they brought the passion in. Let's say if they're passionate about children or passionate about youth, the young people, and they brought it as part of their offering, that really actually sets them apart, versus saying, oh, what do you do? I'm a coach. What exactly is that? What exactly is, you can say the passion, which I'm so passionate about working with young people on the fringe who are experiencing trauma, and I'm supporting their families get to a place of breakthrough. So that's a very specific area, isn't it? And if that's your experience, that's your passion, allow that to be a part of your coaching world. So I think that's just what I wanted to add at the point.
Yeah, such good points there about our own personal branding, and perhaps that's something that there might be a workshop or something on that later to really look at branding for us as coaches. So one thing, probably one of our last questions, is that I know as coaches we always are looking forwards, wanting to bring hope there, but I want to ask you this kind of question. What do you think some of us coaches probably need to hear about building business that we don't really want to hear? Bit of a
okay. It's not what everyone thinks it is. It takes a lot of hustle, and a lot of trial and error as well. It's like, if the pandemic didn't happen, would I have an online school? The answer is yes. I started the online school 5-6 years ago, making sure that I don't fall into that place where I'm doing face-to-face coaching certification. I said to myself, I wanted to start an online school, not face-to-face, right? And when it hit, it didn't really hit me, because I had it set up as an online school already. And in fact, I had more interest in the school because I was up and ready with everything, right? So I would like to just say that there are risks that we need to take. Obviously calculated, right? Understand the risk type that you are, and stretch yourself. Allow yourself to do things that you may not feel like doing. I volunteered with the ICF for 4 years, 2 years in Malaysia, 2 years in Melbourne. I have a podcast during the pandemic when I didn't want to be a podcaster. It's gotten 13,000 downloads thus far, and so on and so forth. And being an author as well. I never thought I'll be an author, to be frank with you. I don't really like writing. I kind of got myself in the groove and said that, what are the ways that people need to listen or hear your story? And one of the ways, I believe, is to put it in some sort of piece. If it's an ebook, hey, start with an ebook. If it's just 5 pages, then just do it in 5 pages, right? But start something. Start something that is that you want to just jump in and just say, hey, okay, I'll take on that challenge and stretch myself. Because we often, as coaches, challenge our coachees on different things. And I think it's high time to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, what would be a stretch for me that I would like to challenge myself? And you know what? At the end of the day, you've got to love what you do. And if you do, I'm sure you do, coaches, don't be a secret. Be out there and be part of the ICF as well. Connect with other coaches, collaborate with them. Of course, don't start the conversation saying, I would like to collaborate with you. I mean, show your worth, right? Show your brand, show your value, show your integrity and your authenticity. And, people will just reach out to you. So all of that. And then at the end of the day, you've got to live with yourself. So be who you want to be, not what the world asks of you. And so, like, for me, I know I'm a very different coach, and I now can say that I celebrate my uniqueness. And that's what actually my clients look for. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Mel. Sounds like I need to do a bit of self-coaching here. Perhaps get some of the coaches we can coach each other on really stretching ourselves, not just our clients. So thank you so much for, anything else you want to add?
I just this last thought. Be part of the ICF, be involved in the ICF, and yet don't just get stuck in the ICF. Put yourself out there as well, right? In different communities, different collaborations outside of the ICF as well. So consider both on your journey.
Yeah, great.
That's it.
Yes, great advice. Thank you. Thanks for your time. I know
You're
so many
welcome.
people
Thank you.
here would have gotten so much out of that conversation, and so nice to hear more of your story today. So if any members want to connect with you more, Mel, what's the best way to do that?
Well, just pop on LinkedIn and just look for Coach Mel or Mel Leow, right? So the handle is the LinkedIn address, and then it's Coach Mel. Yeah,
Coach
we'd
Mel.
love to connect with you.
Awesome. Okay, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back with another episode next time. See you later.